Hello everyone, I'm Joseph Giarraputo, the President and Editorial Director of Global Finance. I'm speaking from New York. I'll be joined by Victoria Harverson, Global Head of Business Development, SmartStream Air in Singapore. SmartStream is a recognized leader in financial transaction management solutions with artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies embedded. In our June issue, we named SmartStream the Outstanding Financial Innovator in the FinTech sector. They won a second award for Outstanding Innovation in Payments for their TLM Aurora digital payments control product. Victoria, welcome. I'm glad you could join us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
One of your company's latest innovations is SmartStream Air, which uses artificial intelligence and cloud-native technology to optimize data management. What is SmartStream Air and what makes its technology unique?
Okay, so very good question to kick off with. I think we probably have to quickly address why we built the product really before we approach kind of what SmartStream Air is. The problem statement, and this focuses very much on data and reconciliation use case, is pretty much the same across the entire landscape of our industry. And that problem statement is that data that we have to process is non-standard, it's messy, even when it's structured, and ultra high sort of growing volumes of data. They need processing and managing, and you have regulations, you have new data types, the way that we are now supposed to interact with data. Even in the last 2 years with the pandemic, it's made data management, even harder. And the typical approach in financial markets in the sort of middle and back office is to use people, spreadsheets, and potentially what we would consider point solutions that don't really interoperate or talk to each other very well, and they tend to take each data problem and solve it differently. And the more traditional models, they're quite expensive, they're time consuming, they carry a lot of risk, especially when it comes to lots and lots of human touch points. And I think, frankly, it's quite a boring job for a lot of people to be doing when they can be adding a lot more value or intellectual capital elsewhere. And the desire in our markets in this space is just to have individuals actually deal with the issues in the data and investigate the breaks and the errors, not to actually do the data reconciliation and all that work and maintain those processes themselves. So SmartStream Air, to your question, it's our solution to that problem, and we launched it just a few years ago with the latest in cloud native microservices, AI technology. We're empowering any sort of end user to take control of any format of structured data and basically use AI to fully analyze that data and get immediate results. So we're talking about taking raw data, giving it to SmartStream Air, clicking on a button and getting results measured in seconds and minutes, and there's no sort of IT projects or upfront analysis needed. So that's the basic sort of proposition of the product.
How is SmartStream Air a revolutionary solution for the financial industry's data challenges?
So business-wise, I think we have definitely dominated the reconciliation solution space in financial operations for about 40 years now. We really know the space well, and with SmartStream Air, we wanted to very much start from scratch, go fully cloud native, take our knowledge of the customer's challenges, and we wanted to make sure we covered every base to make sure that this really was revolutionary, as you mentioned. Firstly, I think we have a technical architecture, this is the first thing to mention, that is schema free and it's agnostic to data types. So the message here is to give the customer the ability to take lots of messy data sets, pretty much do nothing with them. You don't need to clean them up or normalize them or anything like that. You can just upload them to the solution, and we can do that. Multiple formats, multiple data sources, all at the same time, in real time as well. And the next step is give the task of identifying the shapes and the patterns and the structures of the data to AI and let the AI match the data sources for you. So some way that I explain this often is like shaking multiple packs of playing cards all out on the floor, and the AI will group and combine the cards, or essentially what are data records, for you. And that process is unique. You don't need to understand the data, or the end user doesn't even need to really get what they're supposed to do with the data. The AI will understand it for you. So the end user doesn't need to build the reconciliation solution in that sense, or the reconciliation process rather. And the way we design the UI, it ensures that we show the user why and how the AI matched the data it did. So you then have plenty of confidence that it works and you trust it. You also have this human in the loop sort of process, and you can have full user intervention to change results and to iterate on the actual reconciliation process. And like I said, this is all done in real time as well. So as the data comes in, it's a streaming service. Unlike anything else on the market, it will reconcile each data record as it hits the system, not in any sort of batch way, unless you set it to be a batch reconciliation. And with digital payments, that industry in particular exploding and the volumes growing, real time is a very cool feature to have. And I think the last thing to mention as well is the delivery model. So we're being very, very efficient with the delivery model. It's only a software as a service, cloud native product, and this makes a subscription annual sort of license model. It makes it very easy for any customer to consume this type of technology. Just switch it on, use the service, all on a usage basis. So that's a very attractive model for sort of modern markets, I would say.
What is SmartStream's Innovation Lab, and how was it essential in the development of SmartStream Air?
The Innovation Lab, it's our incubation function, and I would say that it very much embodies all of the disruptive innovation in the company. And to make an innovation lab really work, I think you need to create a solution or components within that lab that represent new lines of business, and they improve performance in a certain market by 10x. So this isn't an area for us to sort of experiment. It's where we scale our next big sort of franchise, and we really are doing this with data reconciliation and with SmartStream Air. So the labs are based in Vienna. It's where SmartStream Air was originally designed and built, and it's where the data scientists are based. The innovation labs, they've taken the latest and most flexible technologies and built Air with a few key features. So just to summarize a couple of these and what they are, these will be supervised and unsupervised learning, all available in the solution, which gives the AI the ability to train itself on data it expects and data it's never seen before. And this builds AI models to predict future outcomes or identify how the data is designed to be grouped and matched. In the data reconciliation process, this is really crucial. It means you can throw data at SmartStream Air. Air does the reconciliation build for you, and by doing this, you can have your people just focus on investigation of errors where they appear. And the other major feature in the labs that we focus on is observational learning. So here we allow the user to interact with the data, to make changes, maybe bespoke to their data or a particular regulation, and they know that they need to match certain pieces, which is quite unusual. And if the AI sees you do that, it will learn from that behavior. So that's observational learning, which will learn from the manual interventions that you make. And it's a bit like a sort of flywheel effect, where the more you interact with the data, the more data Air gets to process, the better the model learns, the more productivity and time saves that the customer can make. So that's essentially what we're working on, and the real value in the labs.
In today's rapidly evolving fintech market, what's next on SmartStream's innovation agenda?
So the fintech market, as you probably know, is undergoing widespread disruption, and we're a global enterprise. You know, we need to keep on top of the next big wave in data management technology, and our focus has been on essentially making sure we're horizontal across markets and use cases, I would say. Making sure we can be applicable in data reconciliation to lots of different markets and use cases. And that being said, we continue to invest in the innovation lab and want to stay really focused on not getting distracted from the AI strategies we're building. AI works really well when you've got a robust cloud deployment model, which we continue to invest in, and we have that with SmartStream Air, a cloud native model. So what I mean by, you know, AI really works with this model in contrast is that if you deploy AI just on installed solutions, you may not necessarily be able to learn from as much data as you can on high volume cloud data sets. So we continue to invest in cloud and information security with partners like AWS and Azure. And something else that we're doing that you won't really find anywhere else is that whilst we give the user a fantastic AI result, we provide that user alongside the AI results. We provide them with a user interface that allows them really full transparency. So by this I mean the design of the UI actually shows you every step of why the AI performed the way it did, what records it used, and even the sort of level of confidence it has that it got that match record right. So we're investing a lot in that sort of transparency piece because that's very important that our customers are confident in the AI. What else can I share? Next year you will see exception management workflows which will be fully automated with AI, and we've got a few data quality and data structure services being planned. So it's going to be a very exciting year for the labs, I think.
Victoria, this was very interesting. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Joseph.